Hello and welcome. My name is Taylor Siebertson and I'll be guiding you through today's volunteer training. Thank you for participating as a volunteer and contributing to our mission of ending hunger. We're going to cover a variety of topics today. First, we'll begin by talking about an introduction to the study and the study background. We'll then move into discussing the responsibilities of data collectors, research ethics, bias and sampling, how to gain client cooperation, conducting the survey, mitigating any challenges you experience, and all the forms you need to complete. We'll begin by introducing the study and discussing the background of the research we're currently undertaking. Our national partner, Feeding America, has led and conducted 2 studies in the past. Hunger in America was a national study, and the Great Plains Food Bank participated by performing research in North Dakota. As a result of the 2010 and 2014 research, we gained new information about how our neighbors are experiencing hunger and what we can do to develop solutions. Hunger is a complex issue that doesn't exist in a vacuum. If food alone was the answer to ending hunger, we would have done it by now. That's why Great Plains Food Bank launched Ending Hunger 2.0, a new approach to ending hunger. Ending Hunger 2.0 works to bring sustainable, long-term solutions to hunger through advocacy, community-based solutions, and research, because we know it takes more than just food to end hunger. As a result of the changes in Feeding America's research strategy and a continuing need for up-to-date data, the Great Plains Food Bank is conducting a new study this year. Hunger in North Dakota 2018 is uniquely tailored to our region and will provide broad and comprehensive data to help us find new solutions to end hunger. Hunger in North Dakota 2018 is a 2-part study. Phase 1 is our partner agency survey. 300 of our partner agencies have been selected to complete an online questionnaire. That questionnaire is currently in progress and is set to be completed at the end of March. Phase 2 is our client survey. Nearly every county in North Dakota and Clay County have been selected. We'll be interviewing 500 clients in face-to-face interviews with volunteer interviewers. And that's where you come in. Generally speaking, let's now move to what you can expect as a volunteer. Your volunteer responsibilities include traveling to the survey site. This will be a predetermined location at one of our agencies. We ask that you arrive on time. Please check in with the survey site manager once you've arrived. We'll then move into conducting interviews where you'll read questions to clients and record their responses on a paper survey. Then you'll direct the client to the survey site manager to receive their incentive. Before we begin actually doing research, it's important that we think of research ethics. And there are things that we think of when we commit ourselves to strong and sound research ethics. These are the 5 principles of research. You can think of these as promises that we make and keep with participants. The first quality is that of beneficence. Data collectors should have the welfare of research participants as their primary goal. Ultimately, this means acting with kindness. In the work we do, we know that clients may be experiencing increased stress and emotional strain. Avoiding unnecessary emotional distress is a key consideration when we begin research like this. This quality is called non-malfeasance. Informed consent means that the survey participants have given us their permission to ask them questions. They can only do so if they're well informed about the study, their rights, and if they have the ability to willingly decide whether or not to participate. We want to make sure that no one feels coerced to take the survey. This is really important. Before we can ask the participant questions from the survey, we must gain their verbal consent. The process of providing consent is ongoing, and therefore it can be withdrawn at any time. Participation in the survey is voluntary. Anyone can decline, and participants can stop the interview at any point. Let's now take a closer look at informed consent. In the volunteer training packet, find the document that looks like this. Please read, review, and familiarize yourself with the script provided. While it isn't necessary to read this verbatim to a participant, Making sure that they have all possible information and can willingly decide whether to participate is essential. And finally, let's discuss confidentiality. It's important to us that we have privacy and confidentiality in mind throughout this entire process. Privacy relates to people, confidentiality relates to data. So by protecting their privacy, we make sure that all the data that we collect is combined to see the results at the group level. We also make sure that we're not collecting personal information. No identifying information is being collected in this survey. Reducing bias is another important quality of strong research. Your role as a data collector is accepting the information as it's given and not sharing personal opinions or beliefs about the information. All participants are receiving an equal incentive, and the potential to participate is random. In these ways, we reduce bias. Sampling is the word we use to describe how clients will be selected to participate. As a measure of reducing bias, we've decided to conduct our survey with an on-site sampling strategy that is randomized. This means that we'll begin with the second person who enters the doors, and every third person thereafter will be selected to participate. Now that we know who's been selected, it's just a matter of getting them to agree. For the most part, your informed consent statement will include any important information they may want or need to know. Gaining client cooperation can be as simple as introducing yourself and sharing the purpose of the study. Some people may say no, but they have the right to do so. Simply continue your sampling. The survey coordinator will keep note of the number of individuals who were sampled but declined to participate. So be sure to let them know how many people were not interested. So you've gotten a client to agree to participate, and now it's time to start the interview. Let's discuss what you can expect while you're interviewing a client. First, what does the survey look like? At this time, please locate the survey within your volunteer training packet. Take a few moments to read and page through before we continue. Pause the video here if you'd like. Now we're going to discuss how to read and fill in the survey. On the first page, you'll see some marking instructions. Please use a blue or black pen. Don't use markers or gel pens. When you see an oval or a box, fill in the oval or place an X in the box of the correct answer. To change an answer, fill in the oval or place an X in the box for your preferred answer and circle that answer. Make sure you print legibly, and where applicable, enter only one number per box. These instructions are pretty standard. I'm sure you've seen them on other forms before. We just need to make sure that we follow these instructions closely. Instructions to the interviewers are in uppercase. The interviewer should only read aloud the statements in lowercase. Make sure you record the responses verbatim. And finally, don't lead the respondent. Due to the information we're gathering and its sensitive nature, we have to be careful not to lead the respondent by suggesting answers. If at any time a respondent is unsure or uncomfortable answering, simply skip the question or mark the don't know/refused answer option. Besides leading the respondent, there are a couple things we must keep in mind in order to maintain the integrity of the interview and the responses. Number 1, our client's time is precious. Be clear but concise and aim to stay on topic. Number 2, privacy is tantamount. That means that what is said in an interview stays in the interview. Anything you learn about an individual and their family cannot be shared with agency personnel or other organizations. Number 3, this survey is standardized. A standardized survey gives us the best possible representation of reality by asking questions and recording answers in a way that is the same from person to person. It's important to read the survey the way it's written. And finally, that being said, this is still an opportunity to talk to another human about their very real-life experiences. They may be sharing difficult or sensitive information. Let's make sure we're compassionate in every step. This final step is easy but very important. By now you've heard me talk about confidentiality or privacy or security at least 20 times, so why not once more? We've promised our clients that we'll protect their privacy and their confidentiality, and so we must secure the completed surveys. Each interviewer will receive a manila envelope to place completed surveys in. At the end of each site visit, you'll give those envelopes to the study coordinator and we'll seal them. They'll then be stored in a locked cabinet until we're ready to analyze the results. We've already covered the topic of gaining client cooperation. Although it might feel a little abstract right now, by practicing some of these techniques, we can feel confident approaching clients and gaining their participation. It is possible that you may encounter clients who are generally unhappy, dissatisfied, or some other challenging situation. Before anything else, I think the first thing to remember is that we must have compassion. The expression of stress and other emotions related to this are understandable. We may encounter clients who are upset at having not been selected to participate and receive the incentive of $10. If you encounter a participant that is upset and it's related to the survey, I do have some suggestions. First, be calm and remain calm. By expressing a calm demeanor, it's much easier to diffuse a situation. Second, move the upset client away from other clients. I think it's important to give this individual some space and privacy to express their concerns. Third, listen. Simply by being heard, we can most often mitigate upset clients or other challenges we're facing. And finally, as a volunteer, your role is to diffuse, not necessarily to fix or solve the problem at hand. If you need additional help or assistance, please reach out to the survey site manager or the Hunger Study coordinator. And that brings us to the end of this volunteer training. Thank you so much for joining me today. But before you go, I want to make sure that you've completed any necessary forms. The volunteer agreement form and the schedule form are both linked in your volunteer training packet. Please go ahead and fill those out. And again, if you have any questions at all about this training or other information, please feel free to contact me at my desk phone or my email. I'll be happy to address your questions. Thank you again for your time and for your participation as a volunteer. I look forward to getting started.